Hey YouTube family and friends, it's Proverbs 31 woman, and I am working on another chunky knit blanket, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I've been off and on working on this because I have some other things that I need to take care of. I probably have about 3 or more projects going at the same time, so my hope is to get this done so that I can get it out. And I haven't had time to get a manicure, so please excuse my broken nails as I work on this project. So I know a lot of people want to know how to start a chunky knit blanket, so I am gonna kind of briefly go over that, how I started this project, how I got this pattern where you have how it raises and lowers. I just love that texture on this. I'm gonna have a hard time giving this blanket away, just letting you know that. Okay, so let me grab the other color so I can show you how I start my chunky knit blankets. With all the projects and things going on in this room, I had to use this angle on the camera, so I hope it's okay. All right, so this is how I start mine. All right, I'm a self-taught knitter. I kind of watched people, but I am self-taught, so the way I hold my yarn and things are not gonna be what you may be used to. So I'm just gonna take and make a loop like so. I'm gonna shrink that loop a little bit. Okay, so I just took the string and made a loop. Then I'm gonna take that tail, tuck it in. So you should have something that looks almost like a pretzel, right? And that's it. That's how I start my loops. And then I just reach into that top piece on the loop. Excuse me. And I take the yarn, I push it through, and there's 2 chains. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kind of keep them loose so that you can work with it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm going to try to make it about roughly the same size as this blanket. 12. Some yarn off there. 13. I used to never count my chains, but it's a good practice. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22. What I noticed is my products come out a lot better, or my projects come out a lot better when I count my chains. 23, 24, 25, 26, a little too loose. 27, 28, 29, 30, one. And I'm just gonna measure this because I forgot how many chains I used for this. This is 31 chain. And this is the tail on this one. So I'm just gonna kind of measure it. 31, so it looks like I'm almost to the end. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So we'll do 40. It looks to be about the same length as the one I'm currently working on. Okay, So once you establish how long you want your blanket and you do your chain, and it's pretty fast, and sorry for laying on the floor, I just don't have I think it's easier for me when I lay on the floor to do these types of projects. Okay, so now we're gonna do the loop where we go back and we kind of do the first loop to the knit. Okay, so I'm just gonna push that through. As I get closer to the camera, you'll see what I'm doing. And you want to have 3 fingers, and I'll show you that as I move back towards the camera. Okay, I've learned to not make these too loose, but you don't want them too tight either, and you want to keep them as neat as possible. And this is the first loop. Like I said, these blankets, I absolutely love them, and I'm gonna have a hard time parting with my blankets here, guys. Okay, so those that I'm making them for, I hope they enjoy them. For me, like I said, this is the best way to do this. For me, it's out of the way of the family, so I'm not like in their space. I'm on the floor. They can walk over it, on top of it, or around it, and it's totally fine. Okay. All right. So I'm getting closer to the camera, and I have my first loop done, and it's been 8 minutes since I started. That's how fast these blankets are if you have the time. But for me, I have to be very careful not to miss a loop once I start actually going through with the knitting. And you can see this was 1 ball of yarn, and that's all I did with 1 ball of yarn. So you're gonna need a lot of yarn. Okay, and all I'm doing, I'm just taking this yarn here. Remember, about 3 fingers need to be able to go through your loop. And I'm just feeding it through the back of my chain here. About 3 finger lengths is what you want, just to keep it kind of tight. The first one I made was super huge. My blanket was. These blankets kind of stretch sometimes, so just keep that in mind when you start making your blanket. Okay. All right, so I got my first loop, and I'm gonna show you the pattern that I use. Then I'm gonna continue on with my orange blanket. Okay, so all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get some more yarn off of this ball here. Okay, now I'm gonna take this yarn here, and I'm going behind these knots here, and I'm going to go through the knot underneath. Okay, Actually, I'm gonna go over the top because I want to go underneath on the next two to get my pattern. So for these two, I'm going underneath the loop. Here's the loop. I'm gonna pull the yarn underneath, and you'll see it a little better here as I move away from the camera. And I'm just gonna stretch that yarn there, okay? So, gotta get my pattern going. And I'm gonna try to make these with the similar pattern, but I might switch it up a little bit. I might actually pull the chain after about 5 rows. Okay, I'm going under inside of the loop here, and just make sure you get all your loops. Take your time, because it's the worst when you realize you missed a loop, and it throws your pattern off a little bit. So these two, I'm going in the little loops here. The next two, I'm pulling them through, just reaching in, excuse me, and grabbing them up through like so. Okay, and then these two, I'm going in to the loop, and that gives it the pattern that you see here on the orange one right here. Hope that's not too distracting. Okay, and then here I'm going pulling under again to give it that braided appearance. And I'm just gonna go back and check and make sure I didn't miss a loop. Okay, so we're good. And you wanna try to keep your loops that you're working nice and flat as possible so that you don't miss them when you come back through. And I am actually starting another blanket. This one is for my mother-in-law. This is the color of her living room right now. Hopefully she doesn't change it. If she does, she's just gonna have a cranberry blanket. Okay, and then this one is the color of my mom's living room. Okay, once again, make sure you check and you don't miss any loops. And then for this one, I'm going inside. So 2 outside, 2 inside, 2 outside, 2 inside. And as this gets bigger, you can see more of the pattern. And it's so soft and lovely. Like I said, I'm gonna have such a hard time getting rid of these blankets, but these ladies have been a blessing to me and my family. And I just want to show them my appreciation, so I don't mind. And I'll knit until I run out of yarn. Hopefully I have enough to do both projects. That's my hope. Okay, and I want to make one for myself, especially with this pattern. It's just gorgeous. Okay, and you'll see how fast this is. Let me see. Excuse me. Let me see. We've been on 13 minutes. Or it's been 13 minutes since I've started. And this is the 3rd row into the knitting. So these 2 are in. So I'm going to pull these underneath. It's 1, 2. These go in. 1, 2. These go under. 1, not too big. 2. I think that's what slowed me down with this project here. I have to make sure that I follow the pattern. And this one goes under. Okay, and the ones on the sides are going to hang off to the side, and that's fine. Okay, so these 2 go in, 1, in, to a long video here. I may edit, I may not. Uh-oh. Okay, so I missed a loop. So I'm gonna pull back. This is the perfect learning opportunity. Okay. All right, so what I did was I went in and I didn't need to, I needed to go under for these two here and in for this one. And for this one, this is where you really have to be careful. Sorry. We are having a winter storm, so my heater is working overtime. Right. Or low temperatures, should I say. Not really a winter storm, just low temperatures. Oh, and see this one, how it was hanging back that way? Gotta make sure you get those. Already we are almost done with the 4th row. Once again, make sure you don't miss your loop. Okay, and I'll do another video, hopefully with a finished product, so you get to see these blankets. When you go to tie on your new piece, okay, and you should be able to find these this type of yarn in any kind of craft store. I get mine from Hobby Lobby. Okay, this is the brand that I'm using. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to connect the new yarn. You just take the two. This is how I do it, okay? Some people may do it differently. You wrap around the two pieces, then you tie it in a knot here, like so, and just kind of pull it gently, because this, like, it'll pull apart. And you cut the little pieces off the side. I try not to cut them too low, but you just cut them off like that, pull it tight, and that's it. That's how you connect a new piece, a new bundle. And this is my second bundle, and you can see how much I've done with that first bundle, if that gives you any clue to how many things of yarn you're gonna need. So these blankets can get pretty expensive. Okay, well, this is Proverbs 31 Woman, and like I said, I'll come back hopefully today. I'm not sure, but I'm off today, so I may come back just to show you the finished product. Hopefully I'll be done with this cranberry blanket because I have to box it and send it out. It probably won't get there for Christmas. It'll get there afterwards, but I tried. Been working so hard, so I just used my spare time to get it done. Well, I hope that you have an outstanding holiday. Thank you for stopping by the channel, and this is Proverbs 31 Woman out. Thank you guys. God bless.